Have you ever imagined having 30 days to blow through $30 million without being able to accumulate anything in the end, just to inherit $300 million? A task that seems like a dream, but turns out to be a comedic nightmare, and we are going to uncover every detail of this cinematic madness released in the year 1985, a journey that tests the limits of creativity and financial desperation. Hey clickers, subscribe with the bell activated. Comment with the content you want to see on the channel, share this video to help us grow, and leave your hype. It helps us a lot. Brewster's Millions introduces us to Montgomery Brewster, a minor league baseball pitcher whose life changes overnight. The character, masterfully played by Richard Pryor, discovers he is the only living relative of an eccentric, multimillionaire great-uncle who has just passed away. The will offers the protagonist a choice that defines the entire plot. He can receive $1 million immediately with no strings attached, or accept a much more lucrative and infinitely more complicated challenge, spend $30 million in exactly 30 days to then inherit the full fortune of $300 million. The catch, of course, lies in the bizarre rules that accompany the challenge. The imposed conditions are the true engine of the comedy and drama in the film. Montgomery Brewster cannot simply donate the money to charity, except for a small percentage. He cannot destroy valuable objects, nor can he tell anyone the reason for his spending behavior, which leads everyone around him, including his best friend Spike Nolan, played by the unforgettable John Candy, to think he has gone insane. The hardest rule of all is that at the end of the 30 days, he can have absolutely no material assets that he did not own before the challenge began. Every cent spent must disappear without a trace of equity. The heir's journey to get rid of the initial fortune is a succession of hilarious and increasingly desperate attempts. He rents the most expensive floor of a luxury hotel in New York, hires a team of employees with exorbitant salaries for the most useless tasks, and throws extravagant parties that end in a loss. One of his first big ideas is to buy a rare and valuable stamp only to use it to mail a common letter, a scene that perfectly encapsulates the absurdity of his situation. However, even with these monumental expenses, the protagonist realizes that getting rid of $30 million is a Herculean task. The character's true stroke of genius and the turning point in his spending strategy is his decision to enter the race for mayor of New York. Investing in a political campaign is one of the few ways to spend astronomical amounts of money quickly and legally without acquiring any assets in return. What makes his campaign unique and a cultural phenomenon within the film is his platform. He does not ask for votes for himself. On the contrary, he encourages the population to vote for none of the above, protesting against traditional politicians.
This unusual campaign tactic turns the pitcher into a folk hero, but it also puts him in the crosshairs of the other candidates and the lawyers from the firm overseeing the will. These lawyers, who would receive a fee if Brewster failed, do everything to sabotage his efforts, creating obstacles and trying to trick him into breaking one of the rules. The pressure mounts with each passing day, with the clock ticking and the mountain of money seeming to shrink very slowly. Another of his major financial maneuvers is to organize an exhibition game between his modest team, the Hackensack Bulls, and the powerful New York Yankees. The logistics and costs to hold an event of this magnitude consume a significant portion of the money, while also providing a grand spectacle and moments of pure comedy, especially with the interaction between the characters of Richard Pryor and John Candy, whose chemistry is one of the high points of the production. The climax of the work happens in the final moments of the 30th day. After a series of twists and when it seems that all the effort was in vain, with the protagonist believing he has failed by a small amount that was maliciously invested by the lawyers to generate a profit, an unexpected solution arises. Angela Drake, the paralegal in charge of monitoring his spending, uses the last remnant of the money to pay her own salary, ensuring that Montgomery Brewster finishes the challenge without a single cent left over and with no new assets, thus fulfilling all the clauses of the will. It is important to note that the 1985 version, directed by Walter Hill, is not the first adaptation of the story. The plot is based on a highly successful 1902 novel written by George Barr McCutcheon, which had already been brought to the movie screen several times before. However, the combination of Richard Pryor's charisma with the script adapted to the culture and economy of the 80s gave this version the status of a comedy classic, being the most remembered by the public to this day. The dynamic between the main actors is fundamental to the film's success. Richard Pryor delivers a performance that perfectly balances the desperation and comedic genius of his character, while John Candy, as the loyal and completely confused friend, serves as the perfect counterpoint, representing the viewer's perspective on the madness that unfolds. The interaction between the two generates some of the funniest and most memorable scenes, solidifying Brewster's Millions as a landmark in the genre. So, what would you do with $30 million to spend in 30 days under these crazy rules? Leave your most creative strategy here in the comments. Do you think Montgomery Brewster's plan was genius or pure luck? We want to know your opinion on Brewster's Millions. Don't forget to leave a like to strengthen the channel, share with friends who are also fans of classic comedies, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our next videos. Your interaction is what drives us.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards